Delta State University has a wide variety of exciting undergraduate programs, including those in the Department of Music. We are talking today with Dr. Terry Herron, Assistant Professor of Music. Dr. Herron, thank you for being with us today.
Well, thanks for being with me. This is going to be fun.
Okay. How does a single discipline degree, such as music, differ from an interdisciplinary studies degree?
Well, Karen, when we were talking earlier about interdisciplinary studies, we were talking about looking at a variety of disciplines to sort of create a center degree. In terms of a music degree, no matter which one of our bachelor's degrees you choose, what we actually do is we look at a variety of things through the filter of music. So we look at history, and we look at music theory, and we look at literature, and we look at all of that through this filter of music as the single discipline.
Okay, and who helps guide the students through their degree?
Well, this is really important, of course. All students have an assigned student advisor, and that is normally, interestingly enough, their solo instrument teacher. So they spend time in the studio with us working on trumpet or flute or voice in my case, and then we also spend time with them sort of asking them about their classes and seeing how they're doing in their degree, and then also guiding them through the choice of courses, because of course we have a core complement, and then they also have a lot of options.
When the student is working through their degree program, do they have contact with any other faculty other than, their major solo?
Oh, of course. Within the music department, of course, they're taking courses in music theory, they're taking courses in piano, because no matter what instrument you play, you can't get away from the big behemoth. They're also taking courses in music history and literature. They're taking, of course, then outside the department, all of the general education core requirements for the university. Additionally, depending on what degree they're in, if they're in a Bachelor of Music Education, they're taking courses in the education school. Also, for instance, a Bachelor of Arts in Music has 19 credit hours of nothing but electives. So they get an opportunity to take languages if they want, or more history, more science, and they can tailor their degree program just about any way they want. And of course they do that with the student advisor helping them to decide.
Okay, so once a student has decided to become a music major, how do they go through the degree?
Sure. Well, actually there are 3 separate degree programs, or 3 tracks that they can take. And it depends on what they want to do with their degree. One of the first questions we ask a student when they audition to be a music major, and they do have to complete an audition. So that's different than just being accepted into, say, the history department. I want to be a history major. Well, you're accepted based on your paperwork, your transcripts from your high school, your SAT or your ACT. But when you're a music major, you have to come in and show us that you have some aptitude in the instruments. So they do an audition, vocal or instrumental, pieces of their choice, and then we ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? What would you like to do with this music degree? If they say, I'm really interested in being a high school music director. I loved my band director, or I loved my high school choir teacher, and I see myself doing that. Then the degree track that they would want to take is the Bachelor of Music Education, or the BME. They would take courses then, the core courses for the School of Education. They would also take the core courses for the Department of Music, and then they would add to that, of course, their gen eds. And as they go through that degree, they are learning all the things they need to do to then become licensed to teach in the state of Mississippi. If somebody says, I just want to sing, I want to sing for a living, I want to do that, and I want to go on and get a master's degree in voice or trumpet or clarinet, then the BM, the Bachelor of Music and Performance, is probably the best thing for them. And that's slightly different. That has the same rudimentary courses in music and the same gen ed courses, but in addition to that, they take things like languages, they take diction, they take literature courses, they take history courses in music that are beyond what those in the music education field take. And in that, they prepare themselves to move on into a master's degree, or if they're really game, to throw themselves into the classical world of auditioning for orchestras or also for opera companies. It can be kind of scary. Then we also have a BA track, the Bachelor of Arts in Music. This is a more generalized degree. Somebody who comes in and says, I'd really like to be a music manager. I'd like to be a producer. I'd like to run a business. I'd like to be an agent. These are people who want to go on. They want to use their music degree, but they want to use it for something that isn't necessarily creating music. So they have the same core. They're required to take a solo instrument, instrumentalist or voice. It's all an instrument. They have the same gen eds, but then they have those 19 credit hours of electives. Some of us encourage, for instance, if somebody said, I want to run a business, I want to be a music manager, I would then request, hey, why don't we take some management courses? Why don't you go on, get an MBA, and really take this to the next level? Having that understanding of music is going to make them that much more employable later on, because musicians, as we all know, only trust other musicians. So it depends on which degree program they choose, but once they've chosen that, then they progress through the standard core, which is the same for all 3 degrees for the first 2 years. And after that, in the upper division courses, they branch out and become more specific to each degree program.
Thank you. Now, in interdisciplinary studies, there's a capstone project. Mm-hmm. Is there something similar in the music degree programs?
A final project for a BA is a little bit more closely related to your capstone project in BSIS. You can basically do a wide variety of things. We have a BA who did a capstone earlier this semester where she did a lecture recital. She researched her pieces and then she sang example pieces of what she had researched, which was lovely. We have a BA who's doing composition. He actually writes pieces of music for larger ensembles, smaller ensembles. He set an opera for us last year. This year his capstone project will be groups here in the Department of Music performing his brand new pieces in a concert in which perhaps he will play or perhaps not. His music will be played. For the BME, the Bachelor of Music Education, they have a senior recital component, and that must be completed either the semester before or the semester after student teaching. It's 25 to 28 minutes of memorized performance for the voice majors, or performances with score for instrumentalists. If you're a pianist, you also have to memorize. If you're a Bachelor of Music and Performance, there are 2 recitals required, one in the junior year and then a longer one up to 40 minutes in the senior year. So really showing that you have studied your instrument so that you are worthy of being called a Bachelor of Music in Performance.
Thank you, Dr. Herron.
Well,
good luck to you and your future students,
well,
and your current ones.
I appreciate that.